Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Trader Main. So, did Powell just come out and shit on our little rally? Did Powell's hawkishness or his lack of dovishness just come in and shit on our little rally? So, lots to cover today. A few different things. What is a key frame frequency? What the fuck does this mean, dude? I hate technology, bro. You know how I know I'm getting old? Fucking technology pisses me off. My computer's like starting to act up, and I haven't changed anything. I haven't touched anything about my stream settings. I haven't fucked around with anything, and now it's saying that my stream quality is poor because I'm using a key frame frequency of 4 seconds or less. What's that even mean? I don't even know what that even fucking means, because I haven't changed anything since the last stream. And the last stream, it said I was fine. The fuck, dude? I for real hate fucking technology, bro. I hate fucking technology. Keyframe frequency is currently 8.3 seconds. What does that mean? Note that the ingestion errors can be incorrect. Like, I don't know what that means. I really don't. I have no idea what this means. You guys are gonna have to let me know if the quality is kind of gay, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the keyframe frequency means. I have no idea. Video is not good. Quality is gay. Quality is good. Quality looks like motherfucking F. Seems not gay. Quality is fine. I don't know, guys. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I've never seen this error before in my life, and it's saying the stream quality is poor. Like, what the fuck does this mean? What does this mean? I've changed nothing. I turned my computer on and off. I don't know. I'm gonna just fucking, I'm just gonna go with it. What's up, fucking CD dog? Here's your shout out, bro. So it's not letting you go above 720p? Well, what the fuck? I haven't changed a single thing, though. That's the problem. Oh my god, I need some fucking Indian guy to just like have the solution in a 5-second video. You know, that Indian guy that you find, you have some weird obscure problem, and there's like just some weird fucking Indian guy who just like has the answer. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds. What does that mean? I haven't changed anything. Okay, so how do I fix it? I don't want to know what the issue is. After setting it to 2, restart the stream. Oh my god. Output. Streaming. Keyframe interval is set to 0. I might have to restart the stream. I don't know. I don't know. Do I restart the stream or what? It's like keeps popping up with these there. I'm just going to rip it, guys. And if the quality's not good, I'm sorry. Go watch on Twitch. You can go watch on Twitch. Twitch quality seems to be fine. YouTube's just being stupid. All right, guys. So, lots to discuss. Powell came out today and was quite hawkish. What does that mean? Hawkish means that the goal still is to get inflation down. Okay? So the goal is still to get inflation down, either keeping interest rates the same or even raising them. And he pretty much made it clear that, I think, in my opinion at least, that he is setting up for no rate cuts next month. So we have FOMC on, I believe, May the 6th. So if you go to this little website here, and I highly suggest you add this website to your bookmarks, you can see the next FOMC meeting is May the 6th. Oh, no, never mind. I lied to you. Why would I do such a thing? Here we go. May the 7th. Okay, so forexfactory.com. Then you go to the calendar. So you can see here we have the next FOMC meeting, okay, on the 7th of May. It's like 3 weeks away. So right now they're not pricing in any sort of rate cut. Is what I understand from the betting markets. No one is expecting a rate cut for this meeting. And based on his conversation today, or his speech today, I think that is the case. I think that there is no rate cuts going to be happening this year. Or not this year, excuse me, with this next FOMC meeting. So that already puts us in May. Okay, then you've got June FOMC. Then we're already in Q3 of 2025. So you wonder what could happen, right? Could maybe we get a late year rally and we're going to get one more correction? I don't really know. But everything I discussed in the last video has kind of remained the same in that we still are struggling, right, with this downtrend line, right? So we still have this downtrend line kind of capping price on the weekly chart. So we're still at that downtrend line. This is exactly where a lower high could happen, but we have had the H12 SFP, and we actually had a picture-perfect Monday's range setup on a few different fucking... Now it's telling me my bit rate is higher than recommended. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. Anyways, but we have had a few Monday's range trades play out, okay? This thing has thrown me off my game. I was all locked in for the stream. I was locked in. I was ready to go. And then this fucking stupid keyframe bitrate bullshit has completely thrown me for a loop. I've got the mental fortitude of fucking wet toilet paper, apparently. Can't even handle a little hiccup. So, right now, we haven't really got any setup for me that I was willing to pull trigger on. So if you remember, I was discussing last video that I would like to see potentially a move below the monthly open into this demand to give me the long for the move up to here. And we've basically just been contained within Monday's range. We are still technically holding this H12 breaker. So if it's going to go up, it can go up from here. Like, it can still go up right from here. But personally, I'm looking for a bit deeper of a pullback to get long. Because my invalidation, I think, is actually down here still. Like, I think that the inval is way down here. So if you're longing here, I don't think the risk reward, even up to here, is that good. Whereas if we can get a decent pullback within this leg, that gives you a much better risk reward, right? Like if we pull our fib here from this low to this high, we've got the OTE, we've got the sweet spot all lining up down here at 80K down to like 77K. And that would give us a much better, let's say we got filled down there or something like that, back towards the yearly open. That gives us a really nice risk reward while allowing us to have our invalidation at the most logical spot. Whereas if you were to long right now at the breaker, I think your stop realistically either has to go right below the breaker or down here. And if it's down here, it's too loose. And if it's right before the breaker, I don't know if I trust it. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I'm still not filled on my long is the bottom line. I haven't filled on the long yet. If we go up from here, so be it. I still would like to potentially try and get filled a little bit lower. We had some weakness on stocks today with Powell speaking, but I'm gonna be patient here. I'm gonna say, okay, maybe I get this tomorrow or the next day, and I can get filled on my long. Maybe it comes even lower. And that will be the setup that I'm looking for. If we go up from here, that's fine. I'm then looking for shorts on any sort of move up towards the yearly open here, okay? In terms of low time frame stuff, we actually had a couple really, really nice opportunities here. So both of these were discussed in the stream from 2 days ago. So today is Wednesday. That means that 2 days ago is Monday. You see? You see? Very smart, this guy. So we had a Monday's range fade, right? So ran Monday's range, put in an SFP, traded all the way to Monday's low. I did a video on TikTok, and then I uploaded it on Twitter because no one follows my goddamn TikTok, saying you could have entered this, right? Closed back within, stop there, target the low. Easy trade, right? Easy trade. You could argue that you could be in a long right now on Bitcoin. Stop here, entry here, target back here. You could try and play Monday's rage twice. I think the first setup of the week where the price ideally forms its higher low of the week on Tuesday or Wednesday, that's the optimal time to trade Monday's range, but it's still just a range. And another setup, right, that formed here was last week's high. So remember, we had marked this out. Last week's high is right here, right? Where's last week's low? Okay, there's last week's high. Last week's low was way low, but I'm going to mark it out anyways. Okay. Last week's high to last week's low, okay? So this is its own range. I'm just going to do this. So just like Monday's range is a range, this range here is last week's candle. That's last week's high. That's last week's low. You can trade this as a range, right? So we ran last week's high. You can now take shorts here, and one played out. And potentially, if this comes and fills my long, right? Well, this could theoretically trade all the way to last week's low. It doesn't have to, but you can treat this the same as Monday's range. If we run last week's high, you can short and target back within last week's range. If we run last week's low, you can long and target back within last week's range. Okay? So if we look here at last week's high, which was confluent with Monday's high, we also had a little short play out. We ran last week's high with an SFP. It also put in a 12-hour sweep, 12-hour SFP. And then right on Powell's speech, and you saw me probably tweet this, I said, hey, we've got a short here. We have two shorts. You could have shorted last week's high on its own as a sweep, right? Like here's your little scalp entry, okay? There's your breaker. There's your structure shift. There's your SFP, okay? Or you waited for the H1 trigger, which is what I had mapped out in Discord and I had posted on Twitter today. I literally posted this. I said, hey, we have an H12, H1 here. There's your breaker. There's your H12 and H1 sweep. So this is technically a short here. And I even posted it with the RR tool and everything. And then I said, but I don't like it because Powell's speaking. And I thought maybe, just maybe, Powell isn't going to, come on and just, fucking fist us. He isn't just going to show up at that fucking pulpit and just start throwing fucking absolute kunai to my fucking jugular. You know that fucking meme where it's the girl and she's like says something mean to the guy and it like is like darts, like it's like knives into his heart? You guys know the one. This one. This is exactly it. Right? Like this is what happened. I'm just like, oh my God, maybe, just maybe, Jerome Powell is going to be nice today. And then he gets up there and he just starts fucking verbal daggers right to my chest. And so I decided to not take the short. And I literally posted that I'm not taking it. And within 5 minutes, it fucking nuked. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I've got a lot of those it is what it is happenings lately. So that's it for Bitcoin for me, guys. Like, I don't really have a ton that has changed. The high time frame, there is nothing to update you on because nothing has changed whatsoever in terms of my high time frame view of price. We still have the major downtrend line that we need to deal with. We have potential here building for a rally to the upside, like we had our 3 drives, there's potential that this can end up being a higher low and take us to here. That's still the framework in which we are operating, is that we can potentially draw up towards the yearly open before the end of this month. But maybe Powell's language has put a cap on that. It's still a little too early to tell. The market initially reacted bearishly, but then got a little bit of a bounce. So if you look at like things like the S&P, it sold off on Powell's speech. You look at NQ, we sold off there on Powell's speech as well. I think I have these all out of order. That's better. This sold off on Powell's speech as well. So it's still too early to tell whether or not Bitcoin is doing its famous, relative strength or laggard. I would much rather see equities bounce, equities go up, and then crypto go up. Then if equities kind of stall or continue to sell off, that just tells me that we're in another instance where Bitcoin is just lagging, and then it's going to overperform to the downside, which is something it does very well. So I'm gonna chill. You guys know my game plan here. I would like to long, as close to 80 as possible, if not even below 80, and then I would target the yearly open. Something like this. Maybe it pulls back a little deeper, right? But general game plan is what we're looking for here. Okay? Nothing's changed on that front. Ethereum, I think that there's potential. Like if Bitcoin's just going to go up from here, right? I talked about the potential of like, hey, this breaker here, we could just pump off this breaker, right? Well, if that's the case, then Ethereum has a decent looking setup here if it can reclaim Monday's low. So if you look here on the weekly, we've got our high time frame sweep. And then on the H12 here, we've got a breaker block, right? These two candles are the breaker block that created that sweep. And within that breaker block, we have an H12 sweep right here. So you have a sweep within a sweep. Double sweep, sweepception, okay? So this setup actually, I think, offers a better risk reward than Bitcoin if we are going to just pump from here. I think Bitcoin is still the stronger of the two overall. So if we do get the larger correction, I'm more interested in longing Bitcoin. But if we're just going to go up from here, which is a possibility, Ethereum has an H12 sweep within the weekly sweep. And then we have our H1 right here. So we can get some sort of move up here on ETH above these highs, right? Reclaim Monday's low. All of a sudden, I think this becomes a pretty attractive long to the upside. And it's just a Monday's range trade in confluence with, the H12 sweep, the weekly sweep. So I think you can get a good trade in here just up to Monday's range, at least, maybe even higher, right? If we're really going to rip and Bitcoin's going to go towards the 90s, all of a sudden you could target maybe the monthly open on ETH and you're in a really nice trade here. So if we get a really bullish day tomorrow, maybe a really bullish Asian session. Sometimes my fucking lisp just fucking sneaks out, Asian session, and we get a move like this, I think that this could become a decent setup here, T1, T2 on ETH, right? You also have like a downtrend line kind of breakout bullshit happening as well. Guys, if you're ever going to DM me, please don't just say like, hey, sup. I hate it, bro. I just had some guy on fucking Telegram. Hey. It's like, bro, what do you want? Like, if you want something, just say it. Just come out and say what you want. And then I'm way more likely to answer you if you just say exactly what it is, what you want, whether it's a question or whatever, than I am to respond to someone who just goes, hi. Like, what is this? Am I a fucking hot chick and you're on Tinder and that's the best you can do? My NHL team is not even in the playoffs, bro. That's who my NHL team is. I'm a fucking Vancouver Canucks fan. And it sucks, bro. It's painful. All right, so game plan for ETH laid out as well there. If we can get a really nice move here, a structure shift, maybe this becomes something interesting. I'll post that in Telegram for you idiots, for the blind homies. For the blind homies, I post it in Telegram as well. All right. What's going on over here on Twitch? Good Quasi. Thank you, Octopuspy. Ain't no way, back-tested, days, weeks, this man is a genius. Ain't no way, back-tested, days of the week, this man's a genius. Okay, I'll take it, Traquan, thank you. Hey, Senior Kuyo, what's up, dude? Kagi, what's up, Bloopy Doop? I'm good, man. Can I look at Cardano versus ETH? Now, this is an interesting question. Let's look at it just for fun. So to get Cardano ETH, I don't know if this has its own pair. Oh, it does. Look at that. Well, that looks like shit, doesn't it? There we go. I have lines on this already. Interesting. What do I have drawn on this? Don't make him come out. Don't make the clout goblin come out from his fucking clout cave and collect some fucking old-ass clout on Cardano ETH from God knows when. I'm just kidding. So all I've done here, from what I can gather, is I just took a low and a high, and I said this looks like a pretty good range, and it seems to be, right? So rejected, reclaimed, went up to the range high. Range high. This kind of a bit of a big deviation here, but this seems like a pretty fair range here. And we're now in the process of reclaiming it, but we're at the mid-range, which would be considered resistance. So yeah, I mean, now remember, guys, let's do a question to see if you guys have been paying attention or learning anything from me. If this chart is Cardano and ETH, okay, that's what this is. And right now it's going up on the monthly. What asset of these two is stronger if the chart looks like this over the last few months? Someone play the Jeopardy music. All right, Merkba with the first answer. Cardano. Correct, right? So just think of this as anytime you're confused about cross-market analysis, just think of ETH BTC. Because ETH BTC always is going down, which means that ETH is weaker than Bitcoin. So whatever the numerator is, if the chart's going up, the numerator is stronger. If the chart's going down, generally the denominator is stronger. Okay? Glad to hear some of you guys are paying attention. Someone said Sol and someone said Doge. Oh my God, God help you. So yeah, for whoever wanted me to look at this, Cardano has been outperforming ETH, but to me, this kind of structure is maybe starting to look a little iffy here. Little iffy here. That would be the biggest concern I have, is that we're in the mid-range and this is like a pretty thin move, but I mean, this can absolutely just consolidate and then go up again. So it's at resistance for now, but over the last year, Cardano has outperformed ETH quite significantly. Kind of depressing. Not hard outperforming ETH. That is correct. Why are we looking at anything other than Curve? Because I've talked about Curve every video and it's barely moved. Like, it's still exactly where it was basically in the last streams. I've talked about this for the last 4 streams. I said holding this monthly order block looks really good. I think the chart looks super bullish. This is one of the best setups I've seen. And nothing's changed. Lorenzo, if you copy and paste that one more time, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to assault you. Can I even say that? I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to go into your fridge and I'm going to drink out of all of your cartridges with my mouth. And I'm going to like finish some of them and then put the empty cartons back in your fridge. And then I'm going to go into your pantry and I'm going to eat a bunch of random stuff and I'm going to move shit around so you can't find it. What's up, Fahad? Welcome to the stream, bro. In Minecraft. Yes, I'm going to do all of that in Minecraft. Okay, so yeah, CRV, I think, has one of the best looking high time frame setups. And even if we get another correction on Bitcoin, if this is able to put in a higher low relative to this one, this becomes like probably one of the better looking high time frame alt setups. You have super clear invalidation. H4 M15 short on Fartcoin. Bro wants to short farts? Blasphemy. Blasphemy. I mean, technically, yes. Technically, yes. Are you willing to step in front of that train, though, is the question. So you've got the MSB. You've got the retest. Maybe we get higher. Maybe you try and get a little bit of a better entry. But you're stepping in front of one of the stronger assets. I do think that when the market pulls back next, Fartcoin probably eats shit. So there's that going for you. I think I have a chart here somewhere. But yeah, like that's the biggest risk. The biggest risk here is, you know, this is a pretty strong coin. But in theory, yes, the setup is there. What do I think about Donald? Is he legit or not? Donald is one of the most legit guys ever. Yeah, he's unbelievably legit. But yeah, I some people don't like him because of what he posts. Fair enough. But he is verifiably one of the really, really, really solid traders on Twitter. What do I think of Janover? I don't even know what that is. Do you think Theta token is good to long? It's nearing bear market lows. No, I don't think so. Let's go see. Let's go see. Hold on. Hold on. We've got some old ass drawings here. Didn't we check this last time and I already collected clout on this? I don't know, dude. There's just like, there's better looking coins. Like, there's better looking coins than this one to long. This one, could it go up because it's all the way back at the lows? Absolutely. But like, why would you long this when you could long CRV? Like, there's better looking coins. Let's look at Sui. Like it's into demand, right? Like it's in demand here. Took out last month's low. So that's probably the setup, if any, is that it took out last month's low and it's into some high time frame demand. So if you want to long this thing, right, you've got a clear and val. It's the same thing as like Bitcoin here. Like we know where the trade idea is wrong. Like if we lose this, we go much lower anyways. So there's reason to long there, right? There's clear validation there. This is the fucking shit I like to see, bro. Jacob Calloway. Hey, Maine, your old lives taught me so much. I'm up 465K over the past 2 years. The Ethereum and chill, spelt incorrectly, stream from a few years ago is a gold mine. Thanks for teaching the game for free, man. You're welcome. You want to know the craziest thing about this wonderful comment from my boy Jacob here? Like, you want to know what's insane about it? Because I get these messages, guys, and I'm not trying to brag. But I get a lot of these messages. Thank you so much. I've watched all your videos. I've done this. I bought a car. I bought a house. I made all this money. I've done all this great stuff. But you want to know what's crazy? The tip jar remains empty. This is the tip jar. There's nothing in it. Empty. Not a single goddamn tip. I'm just kidding. I'm super happy for you, Jacob. That's unreal, bro. GG. I'm going to tweet that if you don't mind, bro. But anyways, so yeah, Sui, I think you have a clear invalidation with us running last month's low there if you want to get in this on the long side. Yeah, you guys are catching on. Paid comment. It might be a paid comment. I got paid actors in the chat. Jacob's a paid actor. Maine, what other coins are as volatile as Fartcoin? I don't know, dude. I actually don't know. I think there's a scanner. There's got to be some sort of scanner, I imagine. Yeah, like I just typed in crypto volatility scanner and this popped up, and this tells you can order by volatility here. Like, where's Fartcoin? How's Fartcoin not on here? Well, this is fucking useless, I guess. I mean, you want to go by volume. It's got to have volume. And then by... You can't do by... Like, what's the most volatile thing in the last 4 hours? Oh, of course I got to pay. But I'm sure there's other tools like this that will tell you what's the most volatile coins, right? Like, that's got to exist. I don't know. Just do some research. But that they can make for very good, scalping opportunities. I think that's one of the best parts about something like, there you go, Orion Terminal has something like that. But there's lots of stuff that you can use to track volatility. I'm sure there's multiple trackers that will allow you to track the volatility of any given coin over the last hour, the last 4 hours, and then that might be where you want to go. when it comes to scalping. Now, something that I do think is important, right? Right? Everyone wants the high beta coin, right? So you want let's say the whole market's going to bounce, and then this one's going to bounce less. Hold on. How do I want to draw this? Hold on. Okay, so this is going to do this, and this does this, okay? So these are two coins. Let's call this coin A, and let's call this coin B. Okay? So you can see very clearly that coin A went up more. So let's say that this coin from the low to the high here went up 15%. And this coin went up 8%. And I'm going to ask you, which one of these would you rather long? Most people are probably going to say coin A. Right? Well, I want to long the one that goes up the most. I want to long the one that's the most volatile. It's the highest beta. It's going to give me the most return. That obviously is ideal. You always want to long the coin that can go up the most. But remember, let's assume, I'm actually going to redraw this drawing real quick here. Hold on. So I'm going to do, let me just think here. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Okay. Okay, that's coin A. And that's coin B. A, B, okay, and then this went up 8%, and this went up 15%. And you might say, okay, well, I want to long the one that goes up the most, right? But you got to remember, it's not always about what coin is the most volatile, okay? It's not about always what coin is the most volatile. It also matters which coin gives you the best setup, because just because a coin goes up 15%, it doesn't mean that the risk reward is necessarily better on coin A. Because let's say you're using a breaker entry here. So there's your breaker block, and you're going to put your stop below the SFP. So there's your entry, and there's your stop, and then your target's up here. Well, this might end up being a 2-to-1 because of how far the SFP low is from your entry. So maybe on this coin, you can only get in with a 50K position. Whereas with this one, you have the same breaker entry, but your stop is much tighter. And even though it didn't go up as much, on this trade, you're able to get a 4-to-1. Okay, maybe on this one, you're able to get a 100K position size on because of where the stop is. Right? So it's not always about what moves the most, because you might say, okay, well, if I have 100, all things the same, 100K position here, that makes me 15K. This makes me only 8. That's fine, but how much are you risking on that 100K with the stop being further away here? So it's not necessarily always about what coin is the most volatile, what coin's going to go up or down the most. What's equally, if not more important, is which coin is going to offer you the best setup where you can clearly define your risk and you can get the best risk reward. So my entry on a Bitcoin long, okay, I could long Bitcoin here, right here, and my stop's way down there, and then I think we go to 100, okay, that's 1.5R. But if we get some sort of structure where Bitcoin does, you know, like this, right? Well, I can now long Bitcoin here, and my entry is $2,000 higher. $2,000 higher. So in a lot of people's minds, well, my entry's at 84K, that's better. But if my entry, even though my entry's higher, because this is a better setup where I can have a tighter stop, I'm actually going to make more money on this trade than I would on this one. I can get in with a bigger position size. So even though my entry is shittier, right, it's at a higher price, because my stop is closer to my entry, I can get in more size. The risk reward is better. I'm going to make more money. Okay? So that's a super, super, super valuable, I think, point there that a lot of people miss, right? Is they'll look and they'll say, well, I want to get in on the most volatile coin. That's great. But I talked about this on Fartcoin, like on the way up. So like, let's say you're longing, you know, this pullback here, right? Okay, well, your entry, let's say, is on this order block and your stop is here, right? That's a 25% stop. You have to take that into account when you're position sizing. If your entry is 25% away from your stop loss, that means you're going to get in way smaller position size than something that it's only 5% away. Of course, people are saying full send A. If you look at AI coins on market cap in the past 7 days, they're all going up pretty fast. I know they're down from all-time high, but can this be an indication that alt season is starting? I hate you so much, Mike. Mike Soko. I just want you to know, I hate you. I can't stand you. You make me sick. There will not be an alt season until this chart rolls over. Okay? There has not been an alt season until this chart rolls over. This is alt season. This is alt season. Okay? This is not alt season. So the fact that some coins are going up does not mean that alt season is around the corner. Okay? Now, what could be a sign that alt season is around the corner? This thing rolling over. Okay? Bitcoin stabilizing, not downtrending. I'm just kidding. I obviously don't hate you. Right? So rather than just hope, okay, that alt season's coming because, okay, AIXBT went up a little bit. Or what AI coins are you referring to specifically? Which ones? These are all AI coins and none of them have gone up at all. So which ones are you even looking at? Right? But we need BTC dominance to roll over. So if you're still waiting and hoping for alt season, just remember that BTC dominance is still going up. Furthermore, alt season's only going to help you if you have money. If you're sitting there and you own AIXBT from 50 cents, okay, you need it to go up 500% just to get back to break even. Now, if Bitcoin dominance rolls over, do some of these coins that are down 99% all of a sudden start to look interesting? Hell yeah. Because if we get an alt season, which means Bitcoin dominance rolls over and Bitcoin is usually going sideways, then some of these coins can double, triple, quadruple very quickly. But that's only helpful if you have money to take advantage. If you're positioned from way higher, alt season is not going to save you. I think a lot of people are waiting for alt season, hoping that they're going to be able to get out of some bags that are down 99%. Like, alt season is not sending this back to all-time high. It might make it go up 5x, 4x, 3x, but it's not sending it back to all-time high. All right. So, I don't hate you, Mike Soko. I'm just trying to make a point, right? Everyone's always waiting for alt season. Always waiting for alt season. Let me know when Bitcoin dominance starts going down. Then we can start talking about that. Zor says, I can't believe this cycle's just getting started. Shout out to our boy Orangey. It's just getting started. I can't believe Aiden Ross called the top better than any of us could. But yeah, I am curious, Mike, which AI coins are going up? Because the ones I'm looking at aren't going up at all. Not great. Yeah, BTC dominance just doesn't look topped yet. Tilt my head back into a big gulp. Wait, hold on. What are you going to do with that fucking video? I don't trust you. Maine, can you explain how to pair trade these pairs? Go to my page and look up the altcoin series. I do like 3 or 4 videos talking exactly about pair trading and how you can use ETH BTC and other pairs to make better trades. I highly suggest you check those out. Hello being Orangey fooled me, lost over $1 million thanks to him. Well, in reality, you lost $1 million thanks to yourself. Orangey didn't make you buy or sell anything. Like the fact that someone on the internet did something and you copied them or you trusted them and then you made a decision to risk your money, that's not their fault. That's yours. Maybe that person put out bad information, but they're not forcing you to do anything. Don't try and shift accountability. One of the things that all of you need to do is learn to accept that you are the victim not of your circumstance, but of your decisions. Nobody made you lose money. As much as Murad bull posting the entire way, oh, Murad told me it was a meme coin super cycle and now I'm broke because I didn't sell. That's not his fault. That's your fault. Now, is Murad an idiot? Yeah. I told you this ages ago. But if meme coins start going up, are you not going to start saying that Murad's a genius? Were you guys not liking his tweets to the tune of thousands of likes every time he said all-time high in January, in February, in March, in April, in June? Right? Like, you guys blowing his shit up. Because when he's right, it's confirmation bias for you. You're long, he's bullish, great. But all of a sudden, if he's bullish and we go down, you're now saying, well, it's his fault that I lost money. So I'm not trying to pick on you, bro. I'm just saying, like, everything is your fault. Everything is your own fault. And that's a superpower if you use it correctly. Yeah, I've thought about doing a podcast. I thought about just doing a variety podcast where I just fucking chat shit about current events and the market and just all sorts of stuff. But there's just so many fucking regular ass white dudes with podcasts. It's almost just like, do we need another one? Does the world need another podcast? So just remember, you're the one clicking the button at the end of the day. Someone said, let's check NVIDIA. Look at that. Look at this. Told you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, like I think NVIDIA is going to be fine. Whether or not we make another lower low from here is TBD. Like we're into monthly demand here. That's what this box is here. This is monthly demand, weekly demand, same thing here. Right? Can we make another lower low on NVIDIA? Sure. But do I think that this chart doesn't eventually go back up? Like, I definitely think it does. So it drew down, what? 43% from all-time high. Like, to me, this is like worst case scenario is like down here. I don't know if we get that low. Like, that means like the stock market really implodes. But I marked this out and I bought here sub 90. And I would buy more, sub 80 down to 50. Like, I just think long term. But this is like, I'm not buying with leverage with crazy size. This is like, I'm nibbling this thing because I still think this is a good company. And in, 6, 12, 18, 24 months from now, I still believe this company is making money and the stock eventually goes back up. You said Popcat, not NVIDIA. I'm so sorry, bro. Let me look at Popcat. This kind of reminds me of Fartcoin, to be honest with you. So if you guys remember from like streams from, I don't even know, a month ago, 2 months ago, I've been doing so many streams. You guys are so spoiled. Like, I was talking about Fartcoin when it was here, right? I said, hey, this is monthly. I said, this is like high time frame, weekly demand, right? And I'm like, it's just consolidating here, but this is high time frame demand. Like, it probably bounces from here. And, you know, this is kind of doing the similar thing. Just sitting in that weekly demand. So if we do get a rally and we get some alts that rip, like this is primed as this to rally. But so is it, again, for Popcat to put in a big green dildo like this, it needs the market to go up, right? So if Bitcoin trades towards the yearly open, I could see Popcat like doubling very easily. Maybe even more. But if the market's weak and it goes down, this just shows you that Popcat is a lot weaker than Fartcoin because it barely rallied while Fartcoin ripped. But if the market can bounce, this looks decent. If we don't get an alt season, how do you think this will affect crypto long term as new people won't come to the market? If you think alt season is what brings new people to the market, you're wrong. Alt season usually happens at the end of the cycle. People have this massive misconception of what alt season is. People think alt season is this like 6 month, year-long period where every single altcoin just goes up infinity. It's just not what it is, dude. People, new entrants, come to the space during mania, right? When Bitcoin's crossing 100K, Trump's launching a meme coin, celebrities are doing coins, all of that crazy shit with it. Like, that's when retail joins, when Bitcoin's in the news. Alt season occurs generally at the end of the cycle. At the end of the cycle, Bitcoin typically tops out, and then we get what's called alt season, which is really just a period of time where en masse altcoins outperform Bitcoin. That does not mean all altcoins go up, and it does not mean that everybody gets rich. And I don't think that having no alt season means that doesn't mean that no new people are still going to come to the space. People are always going to come to the casino. We already had craziness with meme coins. We had an entire meme coin super cycle. We had multiple coins go to billions of dollars. There's already been periods in this cycle where alts have outperformed Bitcoin. But alt season is just this small period of time where Bitcoin dominance nukes, and so en masse, most altcoins outperform Bitcoin. But here's the thing, bro. Most people get absolutely fucking wrecked in crypto. I've made my entire brand about helping people trade. I'm helping people learn to trade so they can maybe make slightly better decisions with their money. That's what I do. But I am very blunt in telling people most of you will lose money trying to trade. Most of you will never be profitable. Most of you are playing the lottery. You're gambling. You might as well just be straight up gambling. Most people who come to crypto will lose money. They'll lose their ass. They're going to risk more than they can afford to lose. They're going to get burnt. They're going to get scammed, rugged. They're going to lose track of their coins. That's for most people. That's the average crypto participant's life cycle, is you get fucking destroyed. A very small percentage of people make it. And one of the most common factors between the people who make it is they just survive. Because Bitcoin itself goes up so much, if you just stick around, sometimes you're able to survive. Or you get lucky. You stick around long enough that you get lucky. But most people get wrecked. And that's not going to change. And it's not what you want to hear. I'm not Murad. Okay? And maybe I should be. Maybe I would have more likes and more followers and I'd get more engagements on my tweets if I was like Murad and I just told you everything's going to be all right. Alt season hasn't even begun. The cycle hasn't even started. We're going to see all-time high very soon. Meme coin super cycle all the way up and all the way down. Maybe I would have more followers. But I'm not a fucking idiot. So I can't do that. I can't dumb myself down to that level to just be a permabull all the time. And I like to help people. I do not want to intentionally lead people to slaughter. Does that mean I get shit wrong? I could be bullish and we can go down, of course. But at least I'm trying to be objective. Whereas a lot of these permabulls, they don't give a fuck, right? Murad, who knows what his end game is, or if he already sold, already profited off of the meme coin supercycle narrative. But I told you guys this months ago. I said Murad blew up his fund. He lost a bunch of other people's money blowing up a fund by being a permabull all the way through a bear market. Right? Look at Suzu and Kyle. Like, they're still on Twitter, hanging out. People are still engaging with them. They launched like some kind of exchange, I think. Ox exchange, whatever the fuck it is. These guys blew up. They were part of the architects of the last systematic event that blew up crypto. That ultimately downstream led to FTX blowing up. It started with Luna, with Three Arrows Capital. Right? Like, he went to jail. But he's a bull. Supercycle. And there are thousands of likes. Supercycle, why? It's confirmation bias. And this is exactly why most people fail. They lack the ability to be objective. They lack the ability to believe that price can not just go up, it can also go down. Right? It is what it is. And maybe that's why, you know, I don't get as much views as some of those guys. And that's okay. Because I sleep like a baby at night. Okay, have a look at hype. I don't think anything has changed for hype since the last video. Nothing's changed. We've barely moved. That's the problem with streaming every other day, is that there's not a lot to update sometimes. You know, get above here, it becomes very interesting, right? But this is kind of our big test coming up here. The range low and that point of breakdown, that's going to be the big test for hype, I think. Just buy Bitcoin and chill. Don't get rugged with alts. Yeah, that would probably outperform most people, most funds, most traders by, yeah, just buying Bitcoin. Thoughts on CFT partnering with Bybit, trading on the exchange is pretty cool. Any chance Breakout does something like this? So what does that partnership entail? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually mean you're trading on the exchange. I think they just copied what we already did, which is pulled liquidity from Bybit. Like, you're not actually trading on Bybit, I don't think. Not to mention that it is a B-book anyways, completely. So you're not trading on Bybit whatsoever. I think they're just listing all of the Bybit tokens. You actually trade on the exchange? I'll have to look into that. I don't know. It's on the Bybit demo account. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really have too much of an opinion on that. You can't make more than 10 grand on CFT. They have a profit cap of $10,000. And they have stupid rules like no news trading, margin rules, all of that stupid shit. So it's not nearly as good as what we offer, in my opinion. Not even close. What have I been up to? I'm fucking been producing videos and content for you guys like a motherfucker. 3 streams a week, multiple TikToks a day. I'm grinding for you boys. I do my best to tell it straight, damn. Thanks, bro. What else you guys want to see here? BDC Dom, yeah, I checked it already. It looks like it wants to continue to trade higher, so. Vikram says, I want to share. I have a friend who ran his perps account to $2.5 million from $1,500. He was in a bunch of alts using cross positions, and he got wiped out during the dump to 78K. So your friend's retarded, right? Like, imagine making life-changing money. $2.5 million is life-changing. And you risk getting completely wiped out after grinding all that way. An unbelievable return. And blowing it all up because you got greedy. Insanely stupid. Soul, again, this is all from last stream. Everything's the same, right? So Soul retested the breaker. Right? This breaker caused the weekly SFP. We got the structure shift. It retested, and it looks to push up. So if we get a bullish move here, Soul looks pretty strong. The setup was super clean. This is exactly from last stream 2 days ago. We had these marked out on everything. Bitcoin has the breaker right here. Right? Soul has the breaker. ETH, a little bit different, but it has a weekly breaker here. So all of these coins, a ton of these coins were giving the exact same setup. And now it's like pick your poison. To what I discussed earlier, which one are you going to long? Which one has the best risk reward? Which one has the cleanest setup for you? We just looked at PopCap, buddy. Just rewind a few minutes. Someone said gold. I mean, yeah, gold continues to trade higher. Gold is doing what Bitcoin, we want Bitcoin to do. We want Bitcoin to be digital gold. It's not. At least not yet. So someone asked me, like, when do you short this thing? And my answer was when the dollar reclaims the range. So if the dollar can do this, then we can look to short gold. Otherwise, flashbang. You're stepping in front of a train, and I just don't think that that's a good idea. Have I heard of PP Poo Poo? I have not heard of PP Poo Poo coin. I know the stream is not good right now. I have this weird keyframe thing. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know how to fix it. The only way I can change the keyframes is to stop the stream. So I'll just have to do it next for the next stream. I'm not going to stop the stream now. We're already in it. If you go watch on Twitch, it's higher quality, I think. Main, since you don't use any fancy indicators on TradingView, are you open to ownership of the code of an ultra advanced AI machine learning indicator? What benefit would that have for me? Like what would I add in terms of, value there, if any? Right? I don't think I would add any value there. We're looking to short as equities dip today. I think the short already kind of played, like you could be short based on last week's high. Like there's a reason to be short for sure. We ran last week's high. So I do think that, you know, if you wanted to short, your inval is pretty clear. I think there's a pretty loose inval. But this was the entry on the shorts, right? So, you know, down below 80. Like that would be the short. You could have a stop up there. Because we ran last week's high. We ran the range high here. So you could argue that we're going to come down, right? But my game plan, remember, is I want a long down here, if possible. Do I trade on chain? Not very well. You think the most pain is over by now? Tariff stuff. That's a question for the S&P, right? Like, if this is done going down, then yeah, the worst of it's over. But if this is not done going down, then, you know, we have another 20% down move on equities. It's going to get really, really, really ugly. Really, 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 really ugly. So you gotta kind of hope. Like, you gotta just be like, okay, is this it? 30% off the highs? Where can I do this? I don't know, man. Same with NASDAQ. I didn't mean to do that. Like, is this it? Or are we going to have another 20% plus drop? And then overall, we're going to be down, you know, 40, 50%. Still too early to tell. I really think that the two things, and we've talked about this ad nauseum at this point, right? The two things that we need to happen is a stance change from the Fed. And based on Powell's speech today, I just don't see that as something that's going to happen in the immediate future. And then some sort of good news with regard to China. Like, we need that. We need that. We need to see what's going on. The one thing that, like, kind of yeah, we need, so sorry. I completely lost my train of thought. So here's the thing. Trump's strategy at this point seems to be like, okay, we're going to isolate China, right? We need to isolate China. We need to put these crazy tariffs on China. China's counter-tariffing, and we need to isolate China from the rest of the world so they bend the knee. I think the mistake that he made is that he pissed everyone else off first, right? Like, he pissed everyone else off first. He got everyone fucking hating America. He's got Canada hating them. Europe is hating them. Everyone hates America right now with these tariffs. And then he's like, hey, guys, don't side with China. Side with us. I just think that was, like, not a great strategy. Hi, man. Hope you're doing great. I signed up for breakout account, got verified already. It was smooth. Now, do I only need to buy the evaluation account to start? So if you signed up, yeah, you need to buy a challenge. So depending on the size of the account that you want to trade, that's the next step. You got to determine. You've got to either pick, 5K, 10K, 25K, 100K. Depends on the size of depends on the size of the account that you want to trade, right? Yeah, we still want it to be 4D chess because remember the alternative. Remember my two charts, 200 IQ, 50 IQ, not gay, very gay, right? So we got to wait and see, man. But I'm wondering about the strategy. I have questions about the strategy. I really do. Anything else you guys want to see? Do I think BTC hits all-time high this year? I hope so. I hope so. But if we're going into if we're going into a 2008 style recession, then no. But I think best case scenario is we maybe get all-time high in Q3 or Q4, and we get like this. Unfortunately, because everyone is looking at the exact same thing. Like that's what worries me as well. Is like everyone I know is looking at this. They're saying, oh, we're just going to repeat this. It's like, okay, I hope so. I hope so. But the difference between this and this is the stock market wasn't nuking here. 5% to get funded. Depends what challenge you take. The 2-step, you have to pass 2 phases. 5%, then 10%. The 1-step, it's just 1 step, and you got to just do 10%. What are my favorite time frames? The H12 and the H1 and the 3-day. If I hold along on breakout for more than a day, it goes up 10%, then drops 4% the next day. Does that breach the daily loss? No, it does not. So we are not going to punish you for swinging, right? All of our drawdowns are balance based. They're not based on equity. Breakout is only for small time frame scalpers? Absolutely not. Why would it? What are you talking about? If you could increase the drawdown limits by just a few percent and just materially change the business completely, how would my setups go over the drawdown amount? It's all about position sizing. You can have a setup that's got 100% distance to the stop loss, but if you're only risking $1, you're only going to lose $1. So that's not accurate at all. Sanjay, yes, KYC is needed, but we aren't a centralized exchange. So you can be in America, you can be in Europe, you can be in Canada. No problem to KYC with us. Because of the stop loss does not answer the question. What does that mean? The distance of the stop loss affects position sizing. This is very important. I suggest you go watch my free breakout course, okay? It's in the breakout Discord. It's completely free. What the hell's going on here? Why is this not showing up on the chart? Okay. Let's say that the stop loss here is 25% away from the entry. But if my position size is only $1, I'm not going to breach the account, right? You can have your stop loss as far away as you want. All that matters is position size. I know that based on my position size, if I get stopped out, I'm going to lose $50. It doesn't matter if this is 1% away or 100% away. My stop loss is only going to cost me $50. So if you don't understand this about entering trades yet, I highly suggest join the breakout Discord and watch that free course that I did where I go over this kind of stuff. Because if you don't have this understanding, you shouldn't be trading with breakout. You shouldn't be trading your own money. Not at all if you don't understand this yet. We are tax compliant. Yes. We're not going to help you evade your taxes. Pay your taxes. Look at that CryptoPunk guy who's going to jail now because he didn't pay his taxes. Pay your taxes. Don't be a scumbag. Main, what are you going to fix the UI UX on breakout? Everything else is good. It's the number one thing that we're working on right now is improve UI UX. We just did the entire new back end. Now we're working on the new front end. India has no problem with breakout. Motivate you? Bro, I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. Like, if you don't understand how position sizing and risk management works, you're gambling. You're straight up gambling. And you shouldn't be risking any money unless you're comfortable knowing that you're just straight up gambling. Like I said before, I'm not here to just try and tell you that everything's okay, and we're all going to make it, and you're all going to get rich. Most of you won't. Most of you are going to lose tons of fucking money trying to trade. But if you put in the time, you study, you put in the effort, you practice, there's a chance that you can change your life drastically doing this. Look at the guy who posted earlier, says he's made $500,000 over the last 2 years. Is that not life-changing to some of you? It's possible. All the stuff he studied is stuff that I share for free. But most people won't even put the time in to go watch the videos, right? So if you're not even willing to do that, like, what's the likelihood that you're going to get rich? A lot of you are just like playing scratch-offs on the lottery. You're buying a meme coin, hoping that someone shills it. In reality, that person's dumping on your fucking head. Where are all the meme coin fucking heroes from not that long ago? It's like, oh, these guys were all just farming and copy trading their followers. Because anytime they bought something, all of you fucking doorknobs would just immediately buy the same coin, and then they would nuke it on you. And I don't even blame the meme coin person. That's your fault. Can I retire with $500,000? I don't know. Where do you live? How old are you? But $500,000 can absolutely change your life if you use it properly. I don't personally use Hyperliquid, so I trade on Bybit, and I also trade on Blowfin. Those are the main two centralized exchanges that I use right now. What's up, Treeborn Frog? How you doing, bro? Never paid taxes. That's crazy to me. But maybe you've never made money, so that's why you've never paid taxes. Please look at AutoZone stock. Okay. That's an interesting fucking... Damn! What the fuck is this chart? Is this the right chart? What the fuck? This thing's only down 6%. Bro. That's crazy. Imagine working at this company for the last decade and getting paid in like stock options, and you're just like fucking up 1,000%. That's insane. This is a genuinely insane chart to me. I take it back, Mike Sato. Well, hey, how about you tell me about AutoZone fucking 3 years ago? Not when it's at 3,500. How about you tell me about it when it is at $500? Are you telling me it's going to keep going up forever? Is this just the chart that never goes down? Crypto POTUS, the amount of glue eating from these chats is obscene. That's why I love them, my fellow glue eaters. Question, I just passed my 100K in under an hour with an 85K short. When can we stack more than 2 accounts? So you can have as many accounts as you want as long as you do not exceed the $200,000 max allocation. So you could have 2 100Ks, you could have 8 25Ks. It doesn't matter. But you can only trade one evaluation at a time. So if your evaluation is now funded, a funded account, you can have another evaluation. But this might be the greatest chart of all time. With a breakout account, if you have a trade up 10% and it retraces and you lose 4% of the account in unrealized P&L that doesn't breach, it does not breach. We only breach on balance. We're balance based. We're not equity based. What up, Muff Chomp? Like, are we just in the wrong fucking coins, bro? Like, imagine just betting on obesity. Forget believe in something. Forget Bitcoin is the future. Forget fucking all the lies that meme coin super cycle, all the bullshit. Just bet on fat people being fat and you'd be so rich, dude. Crazy, dude. I'm actually in awe of the AutoZone chart. Like McDonald's, I'm not as surprised because, like, yes, it's up a lot, but over the last year, like it's up 6% on the year, right? And like since COVID to now, it's up 150%. Like, yeah, it's up only fatty bombatties, right? But AutoZone, dude, AutoZone since COVID is up like 500%. O'Reilly, are they a publicly traded company? I mean, it's the same chart. Apparently I needed to be allocating my, this thing's up fucking insane. It's the same. It's up exactly the same, basically. Instead of putting my money in AI and meme coins and crypto and fucking dividend paying funds, I should have been investing in fucking car repair shops. Crazy scenes. Crazy scenes. Top 3 best trading courses. I have no fucking clue. Leafs in 5. The Battle of fucking Ontario is going to be crazy, bro. I'm so hyped for hockey playoffs and basketball playoffs. It's the best time of year. All right, guys. We're at an hour and a half here, so I'm going to cap it here today. The game plan for Bitcoin is simple, okay? If we get the pullback, you guys know what to do. So if we get the pullback, where'd my fucking pen go? If we get the pullback here, I would like to long target there. Okay. If we just go up from here, we just go up. Sol, if we just go up, it just goes up. Ethereum, if we're able to break out here, there might be a long opportunity on ETH here. Those are your freebies. Okay. Let's wait and see. Love you guys as always. I'm sorry this might not have been as fun or entertaining as the previous streams. I was a little bit thrown off by this stupid keyframe shit. Anyways, peace out. Love you. Take care. Talk to you in 2 days for the next stream. Make sure you're checking out all of my links in the description. The Haven, Breakout, my ref links, my TikTok, my Instagram, all the other bullshit down there if you want to support the boy, or if you want to be like the boy Jeff Calloway and make $500,000 and not even tip the boy a buck or two. Feel free to do that as well. Everything is for free, and it's always going to stay that way on YouTube here. All right, guys. Peace out.